for today. I mean, he's a great road racer, and see how he adapted to this style of racing. So, unfortunately, didn't get to see him as long as we wanted to.
Well, remember also, second place in the points, Carl Edwards is off as they are trying to make repairs on that car. Right now, it could be a huge day. There is Carl. He's watching everything on a monitor. He's 336 points behind as of right now. Brad Keselowski, who is running in fourth, could be a big day for him in his quest for this championship. Vince, let's send it your way again.
Well, frustrating finish for Justin Allgaier coming into this fourth in points. And I know that the road racing isn't your strong point, but you felt like you guys were going to be able to make some headway today. What happened?
Unfortunately, I don't know. You know, I just saw the 38 get out of shape up there going into or coming out of one, and knew that it was probably going to end up being more than I wanted to see. But unfortunately, came back across the racetrack, and we were right there. It's just a shame for these Verizon Dodge guys because I feel like our pit strategy was right on par with where we needed to be at, and the car was running really well. So we'll just have to wait to see what we can get fixed and try to get back out there. There's 60 laps or so left to go. So hopefully we can make up some of the ground and not lose too many points to third.
We're going to take a look at it, what it looked like from your onboard, but from your perspective, anything at all that could have been done out there by anyone to avoid what happened today?
Unfortunately, you know, somebody got out of shape, and right here, you know, he kind of comes back across the racetrack, and unfortunately, there's just nowhere to go, and it's so tight right there going into two that you just kind of at the mercy of everybody else, making sure that you know, nobody gets bottled up and blocks the whole racetrack, and unfortunately that's what happened, and we ended up paying the price for it.
Staying out of everybody else's mess, half the battle here at Watkins Glen so far today, guys.
And the road courses have been tough on Justin Allgaier. He finished 35th back at Road America, a total of 20 laps down. And he had completed every lap prior to that, entering that event. Stay with us. Coming back. Are still under our red flag situation and completing only 23 of the 82 laps here at Watkins Glen in race number 22 of the NASCAR Nationwide season. Now, Jason Leffler obviously was one of the key factors in this. He's gone from having his best finish of the year just last time out at Iowa, where he came home third, to having one of his worst. Let's talk to him.
Well, they were optimistic, Marty, after running 8th at Road America, bringing that same car here, having Jacques Villeneuve in the 32 to kind of get some data and some feedback from, but certainly not the way you wanted the day to end. I know we're going to take a look at the replay here with Jason Leffler, but just maybe from your perspective, what happened there as you got off track?
Well, I'll take the blame because I got wide, but you got to let somebody back on the racetrack. You know, I was trying to ease. I didn't even make it back on the racetrack. I was trying to ease back over and got hit in the right front. So, you know, it's give and take, especially this early in the race. And if you don't give, you cause a multi-car wreck like that, and that's what happened. I mean, been in a lot of wrecks of the 16 this year. Not, you know, it seems like I've been involved in a lot of his wrecks. So, like I said, I'll take the blame because I was off the track, but you got to let somebody back in, you know, and wiped out a lot of cars. So I feel bad for everybody at the Great Clips, everybody at Braun, and then all those other race cars that were innocent bystanders. You know, we missed early in the race to get wiped out like that.
Thanks, Jason. Glad to see you're okay. Marty?
Well, anybody want to comment on that?
Well, I mean, he's right. You do need a break, but he's the one that clipped the car in the rear, so he should have been easing out of the throttle a little bit more to find himself a spot. As he said, and he took the blame, but you know, it's racing and things are going to happen. Sometimes you misjudge, and I know it wasn't something that Jason meant to do, certainly, but did create a big accident.
So if I can paraphrase, you're probably like on the freeway, you're trying to merge, and you don't pull out in front of that big 18-wheeler that's barreling down on you at 65.
There's a lot of cars racing side by side there, too, and I don't think Colin Brown could do anything about even trying to give some more room right there because he was busy.
Well, you can see the red flag situation is now into the 16th minute. Stay with us. We've still got a lot more racing coming from the Glen.
Flag at Watkins Glen as the race stopped after a big track blocking crash exiting turn 1. Remind you, tomorrow morning, get ready for the Sprint Cup race with NASCAR Now, presented by 5 Hour Energy, ESPN2, 9 a.m. Eastern, and a wrap-up of the race, 11 p.m. Eastern, NASCAR Now on ESPN2. The race itself is presented by GoDaddy.com on ESPN. Tomorrow at 1 Eastern, we start at noon Eastern with NASCAR Countdown, and then for this Nationwide Series, once we've finished business today, it's on to the Carfax 250 at Michigan next Saturday, 1 Eastern ESPN. Beginning with NASCAR Countdown, the next race for the next generation NASCAR Nationwide Series car. That race next Saturday at Michigan. So you see the field of cars still running in the race, stopped along the front straightaway, while the cleanup continues from turn 1 up toward the S's with all kinds of liquid metal bits dropped from race cars, and the cleanup crews with a whole lot of work to do out there in the corner. And back inside the pit studio with Rusty and Brad. Impressions on what you've seen so far?
It's been a real mess. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the track keeps getting blocked, Alan. You were talking offline a little bit about the big crash with Sam Hornish last year when the track got blocked. We saw the same thing off at turn 7 now last year or a couple years ago getting blocked. Now turn 1. They all fly down into turn 1. They get 2 and 3 wide on these restarts, and you saw what just happened with Jason Leffler. It's very, very unfortunate. But the one thing I did see was an excellent piece of driving out of Kevin Harvick. He's a veteran. He saw it. He got to the extreme right side, got stopped. And Brad, when those guys come piling in around him, that was pretty surprising.
They come barreling in there.
Talking about track blocking wrecks, let's go back and look at a few of them here. It's kind of become a pattern we've seen here at Watkins Glen. This is off the last corner in the Sprint Cup race in 2008.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, that was a hard lick, and you see Bobby Labonte come in there and just get wiped out. Sam Hornish, boom, into the barrels there.
Then this was last year in the Sprint Cup race off of turn number 5.
There's that same guy, Sam Hornish, and that was a heck of a lick. You see Jeff Gordon head on. Jeff Burton slams into the wall. Big time wreck.
Same spot on the track, last year's Nationwide Series practice.
Oh!
Jason Leffler with a huge crash.
Well, I'll tell you, when you hit hard, you hit here, you hit extremely hard just because you're sliding so on a flat track.
And then look at those guardrails funneling down. You don't expect to be a big wreck like that at the exit of the corner, right? They got through the braking zone. Everything should be fine.
You really don't. You don't expect it, but man, look what just happened. And, you know, talking about Jason Leffler a little while ago, there's nothing he could have done any different. Yeah, he did get off course, but he's got to get back on course. And let's take a look at Harvick. Talking about really doing a great job. Okay, he looks up there. Bam, the problem starts happening. He sees it, gets on a brake, gets to the inside, gets his baby stopped, gets all the way Ken. And he's like, what's going on? I'm stopped. Nobody can see anything.
Yeah.
Good job out of Kevin Harvick.
Somebody else that did a nice job of getting through.
Yeah, Steven's sitting here riding, getting ready to pick him a spot out. He sees Leffler go high. He wonders if he's going to make it back. He clips the 16-car Chaos. Steven does a good job of keeping it high. His spotter's giving him good information, and he weaves through it, just barely bumping into Fitzpatrick.
Here's another guy. Watch Joe Nemechek. He got through this somehow, some way. This is called the luck method.
That's the luck of the draw. He's hunting around through there. You see the 38 coming back across the racetrack. 23 cuts across. He bumps. Joe gets it whoa-woed up, and then he tiptoes on through.
That's some sharp driving, but that's some luck, too. Great job there by Joe Nemechek. His car sitting on the pit lane now, waiting for the red flag to be withdrawn so they can replace those flat tires and bent wheels and all the rest that we caught there.
Joe's taking a nap.
And what he's actually thinking is, how did I get through that? Now, behind the wall, Carl Edwards' car sits. Now, where's Carl? He's back in 36th position, and he is 3 laps down to the race leaders. And Mike, you'd think they'd be working on this car, but of course they can't.
Of course not. It's a red flag, but at the very least, they can think about what they want to do and diagnose the problem. Carl, what have they told you about what's going on underneath the hood?
Well, we've lost part of the valve train, one of the cylinders, so we're going to isolate that valve and ground the spark plug wire, and hopefully the engine will run on 7 cylinders. You know, I'm sitting here and I thought I was having a pretty bad day until I saw that wreck, and we still got a straight race car. We still got a lot of laps left, and if this car this Fastenal Copart Fusion can go out there and run and you know, make all the laps, you know, there's a lot that can happen. You know, that wreck was pretty wild, and guys can miss shifts. Anything can happen, and we can still gain some points, so we just got to keep digging here.
It seems like just before that caution flag came out, the window net was up. It seemed like you guys were ready to roll out on the racetrack. Are you ready to get back out there once this red turns to yellow?
Yeah, they say they just got to tidy up a couple things and get back out there. But I just hope this thing will last. I hope that we caught it early enough. I pulled in as soon as I could, and you know, hopefully this Ford will last. I think you know, there's still a possibility we can make up some points.
All right. If there is a silver lining, guys, it's the fact he was in here when that wreck happened. He actually picked up some positions and avoided what could have been a bigger mess.
Yeah, as Carl said, his car is straight in one piece at this point. And Carl saying just what Tim Brewer told us in the Craftsman Tech Garage of what they're doing under the hood of that car to try and make it last until the end.
There's a lot of moving parts in an engine, and Brewer nailed it. He was right on with what happened to that engine. They're isolating that cylinder so that thing will stay running.
By the way, just so you don't think that the big wreck is isolated to Daytona, Talladega, or Watkins Glen, The longest red flag of 2010 in the NASCAR Nationwide Series was 31 minutes and 31 seconds.